back to my channel. I am back with another review, so if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. A lot went down in this episode, so let's just get right into this review. Now, before we get into this review, I just want you guys to keep in mind that the way the last episode ended was all the baddies were at the club, and Mariahlynn ended up feeling some type of way because she saw Smiley dancing and laughing in a short skirt at the club after she had a miscarriage. So at the beginning of this episode, Natalie, Rollie, Scotty, Scarface, and Mariahlynn all end up having a conversation. And side note, Scarface said that her and T did talk at the club before T ended up leaving, and now she's saying that she wants to get to know the real her. And I just rolled my eyes into the back of my head because who the hell is going to want to get to know someone that didn't try to get to know them from the very beginning? Scarface created an issue with T that didn't exist for no reason. So if I was T, I wouldn't want to get to know her at all. Now, Natalie ends up telling them that she wants all the girls to come to their house so that everyone can talk about their issues. So basically, she wanted to have a house meeting. And everybody knows that when Natalie does a house meeting, it turns into a fight because that's what she wants it to be. She wants ratings for her show. Now, Mariahlynn ends up bringing up to the girls that some of them came up to her and told her that they saw her pendant to her chain in Smiley's room. And I get it, Mariah does have a reason to have a problem with Smiley because of her chain, but we're like 9 episodes in and Mariah hasn't stepped to Smiley at all. I was under the impression that they squashed their beef. But apparently not. I mean, Mariah has a right to get her chain back because Smiley should have never snatched it in the first place, but Mariah needing a battery in her back to get her chain back is lame. And Scarface is annoying, telling Mariahlynn that she needs to step to Smiley about her chain when she hasn't even stepped to Tasiki yet. Now, I don't know if her and Tasiki talk things out off camera because we know they don't film 24/7 like they did on Bad Girls Club because there's some things that we don't get to see. But at the same time, we haven't seen them talk at all this season, so it seems like she's trying to avoid a confrontation with Tasiki. And then Mariah brings up Smiley lying about a miscarriage and everyone starts laughing about it. Mariah said that Tasiki said that she saw Smiley put on a tampon and 2 pads. I really just want to know why they care if she had a miscarriage or not. Yes, it's wrong to lie about it, and if she is lying, she's wrong for that. But how do they know she's lying? Like, seriously, how do they know that she's not telling the truth about it? Just because she's not in her room locked up crying about it does not mean that she didn't have one. And then on top of that, I've never had a miscarriage before, but the women who have been in the comment sections and they've said that you do bleed a lot when you have a miscarriage. So to me, that would explain the tampons and the pads. Some women have said that doctors tell you not to use a tampon when you have a miscarriage, but we all know that a lot of people don't listen to what the doctors say. So that does not mean that she didn't have a miscarriage because she was using a tampon. And if it was early on, like if she was really early into the pregnancy, she might have not known that she was pregnant and probably didn't have any emotional attachment to the pregnancy. And every woman's body is different and doesn't react the same. So not every single woman is going to act the same way, you know, if they have a miscarriage. Some people might cry about it. Some people might just go on with their life like Smiley seems to be doing. So I just don't understand why they're making this a big deal. And this is where the setup for Smiley comes into play for me because Rollie ended up telling them that when the other girls come to the house, they'll all end up confronting Smiley about the miscarriage and then Mariah can try to get her chain back. Like, why does everyone need to address her about a miscarriage? And then as far as Mariah's chain goes, she needs to handle that situation herself. And I'm side-eyeing Mariah because she's been fake, saying one thing to everyone and then saying something different in her confessionals, as if the whole cast isn't going to see this right before the reunion. Now, Anna is not feeling Biggie at all. They had to go together to the hospital because Anna's finger is hurt from fighting DJ Sky, and Biggie got bit during the fight with Rollie. Now, they didn't show us what happened during the car ride to the hospital, but Anna gets kicked out of the hospital for hitting Biggie with a blanket. So Anna is outside going off because she said that Biggie kept talking at her in the hospital and telling her what to do on the drive there. And to me, Anna has been feeling a way about Biggie as soon as she met her in the last episode. So to me, anything that Biggie would have done to Anna, she was going to end up having a problem with it. But based on last season, Biggie does seem to talk at people and she likes to talk to them like she's above them. She did that with Stunner Girl last season and that's the reason why they started off having issues. And we don't know what was said in the car on the way to the hospital. So I know that this is an unpopular opinion, but I think that Biggie was talking to Anna some type of way and that's the reason why she was going off. Camila and Sky end up meeting up with T, and T said that she thinks that Scarface has a crush on her. Now, I don't know if she was just joking. She might have been, but I don't think that Scarface has a crush on T at all. I just think that she was looking for a moment, and because she's cool with Rollie and Rollie had an issue with T, that's the reason why she decided to fight her. Now, Sky and Camila do tell T about Natalie's little house meeting, but she said that she doesn't want to go because she knows that it's just going to be a bunch of fighting, and that's exactly what happens at every single one of the house meetings, so I honestly don't blame her for not wanting to go. Sukiyana and her friend Sapphire were on their way to Natalie's house, and Sapphire said that she has someone she wants to address, which was kind of weird to me because they've only been in one episode so far. They went to the go-kart place and then they went to the club in one episode, so I just didn't understand how it would be possible for her to have an issue with anybody. Now, Natalie was getting on my last nerve when she was filling in Sapphire and Sukiyana about what's been going on. She was being biased and talking bad about the girls. She was talking bad about Biggie, saying that she got beat up by Rollie. Like, if Natalie doesn't like Biggie, why did she put her back on the show? She was just trying to make sure that Rollie looked good to the other girls, and that's the reason why she was saying that Biggie got beat up. I don't think that their fight was even good enough to say that anybody got beat up. Then she starts talking about T, saying that Scarface beat her up too, when she knows damn well that Scarface fought T for no reason. So I just don't understand why she's trying to make sure that Sapphire and Sukiyana don't have issues with any of the girls that she likes. She's just trying to make sure that they have some type of issues with the girls that she doesn't really care for. And then Natalie ends up telling them that Smiley is a liar and that she's been running around lying about a miscarriage, and I just don't understand why they keep saying that this girl is lying when there's no proof. And then Anna tried to get on social media yesterday and say that a doctor confirmed that she was lying about it. It's like, what doctor confirmed that this girl didn't have a miscarriage? Because they're not supposed to be telling any patient's information to anybody. So I just don't understand how they would know that the doctor said that she didn't have one. Now, Sukiyana did say that she got a text from Smiley saying that she beat up her best friend Mariahlynn, which is really weird, especially because she said that she doesn't even know Smiley and that her and Mariahlynn are not close friends, so she doesn't understand why she was texted about that situation in the first place. Which I can completely understand why Sukiyana has an issue with this text message that Smiley sent her, because at the end of the day, it does look like Smiley was trying to start trouble with her, and it looked like she was trying to insert her into some drama that didn't have anything to do with her. So I do think that that situation does need to be addressed, but I do think that it's weird that all these girls decide to address her at the same time when they've been had these issues with this girl. So now Natalie, Suki, and Sapphire all agree that Smiley needs to be called out, and it really seems like Smiley got set up. Like, they've literally been planning this all day. Like, all of these girls have been coming together talking about their issues with Smiley and then saying that they're all going to address her at the meeting, so it looked like a setup to me. Now, all the other girls arrive at the house, and at first everything was going well. Everyone was hugging and drinking, but Natalie got a little bit annoyed at Smiley because when she tried to hand Smiley a drink, she said that she couldn't drink. Everyone gathers up in the living room, and Natalie ends up asking where Biggie was, so that's when Anna started telling them about getting into it with Biggie at the hospital. And when the bite on Biggie's arm came up in conversation, Rollie said that she didn't bite her and that Biggie must have bit herself during the fight. I really don't know if Rollie bit Biggie or not. She swears up and down that she didn't. But where the bite is on Biggie's arm, I just don't see how she could have done that to herself. But it might be possible. I mean, I honestly don't know. Now, at this point, Rollie ends up addressing Smiley, which she's been waiting to do. Why they all decided to do it together, I don't know, because the miscarriage was a couple of days prior to this, but they decided to all do it together. Now, Rollie started saying that she feels like Smiley is lying about the miscarriage, and when Smiley started trying to explain what happened, she ended up getting cut off by Rollie. And Rollie was asking Smiley to see her discharge papers from the hospital, and that was really weird to me. Like, Smiley does not know Rollie or any of these other girls for them to be asking to see her paperwork from the hospital, so she doesn't need to show them anything. Rollie started bringing up that Smiley went out to the go-kart place with them after the hospital instead of going home, and everyone was saying how the hospital wouldn't let her leave if she did have a miscarriage. Now, like I've said before, I've never had one, but I've seen comments from women who have had them, and they said that it depends on how far along in the pregnancy that you were. So maybe if it was really early on, they will send you home, but I think it depends on how much you're bleeding, how much pain you're in, or how far along the pregnancy you are. Now, I could be wrong, but that's what I heard people saying, and I looked it up myself, and I saw some of that on there as well. So I just really don't know. I just don't understand why they're harping on this girl's body. Like, why do they care if she had one or not? It's not their business. And Tasiki said that everyone felt the same way. Rollie was just saying what everybody else was thinking. But then my question is, they've all been in this house with this girl all this time, so I don't understand why none of them decided to pull her aside and ask her about it. They all decided to wait until she was in a group with everybody, and then everybody gets to take a turn coming at her. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Smiley did say that she came on the show not knowing she was pregnant and said that she was feeling a little bit sick before filming, but that she ignored it. My thing is, why are they all getting on Smiley for coming on the show if she knew she was pregnant when they didn't say anything about Krishan coming on the show and she was fully pregnant? Like, she was about to pop. Now, Sukiyana ends up getting into the conversation and saying how she heard a lot of stuff about Smiley and how people have been saying that she's a liar, which I will give it to Sukiyana for saying that she's staying out of the miscarriage conversation because she doesn't know anything about her situation. Sukiyana ends up telling Smiley that she's starting trouble and then playing a victim. Now, I don't think that she played a victim with the whole miscarriage thing. She mentioned it to Tasiki while she was in the hospital on a phone call. It's not like she waited for a house meeting and then she brought it up and started crying for sympathy. That's not what she did. These other girls keep making it a thing because they keep bringing it up in every single episode. Sukiyana did say that she wasn't trying to jump or bully anybody, but that she wanted to address how she felt about Smiley texting her phone about beating up Mariahlynn and taking her chain. Now, Smiley did say that it was somebody else that texted her from her phone before the season even started, but Suki felt like Smiley texted her to put her in some drama that she didn't have anything to do with. And I do feel like Smiley should have owned up to that situation when it came to the text message that she sent to Sukiyana, because you sent it, it came from your phone, and even if you're not the person who sent the text directly, you knew the text was being sent. And so at the end of the day, just say it was wrong for you to do that, and that would be the end of it. But she didn't really want to do that. She wasn't really taking accountability for that situation. I'm not even a fan of Smiley. I just think that this situation was handled wrong because they set her up to be ganged up on, because we saw them planning this the entire episode. And when Smiley was asked if she melted down Mariah's chain to make a ring for her son, she said no, and that's when Rollie ended up throwing a drink on her, which was wrong. She shouldn't have thrown anything at her, because at the end of the day, Rollie is the one who escalated things to getting physical because she got all hyped up and threw a drink at this girl. So after Rollie threw the drink on Smiley, Smiley ended up standing up and she took her sweater off. Now, while Smiley is standing up staring at Rollie because she thinks that the two of them are going to get into an altercation, that's when Mariahlynn jumps up and she starts fighting Smiley. Now, Smiley and Mariahlynn are fighting at this point, and while they're fighting, Mariahlynn ends up falling backwards, and that's when Smiley is on top of her, hitting her, and she pulls off Mariahlynn's wig. Now, when the fight was broken up, Smiley walked away saying that she just had a miscarriage and she doesn't want to fight, and Sapphire starts yelling at Mariahlynn to get her chain because she realizes that during the fight, Mariahlynn still didn't have her chain, and that's when Sukiyana ends up yelling at Mariahlynn to go get her chain too. So they all walk in the kitchen while Smiley is leaned over the counter because she's not feeling well, and Mariahlynn starts hitting Smiley from the back when she's walking away. Listen, this episode pissed me off so much because at the end of the day, Smiley is not innocent, okay? She should not have taken Mariahlynn's chain in the first place and she wouldn't have been in this situation. But at the same time, these girls have been trying to find issues with her because at the end of the day, why do they care if she had a miscarriage or not? And then on top of that, they don't even know if she had one or not. What if she really did have one and you guys are ganging up on her and fighting her when she's telling you that she can't fight because she doesn't feel good because she's dealing with the aftermath of a miscarriage? Like, I just don't understand why they all decided to gang up on her at once. And then all the girls who claimed that they were cool with her and laughed and smiled in her face sat there and watched this happen and nobody stepped in and said anything or tried to do anything. That's weird to me. And then on top of that, Mariahlynn looked extremely weak in this episode because why does she need a battery put in her back by all these other girls for her to finally address Smiley about her chain? She had 9 episodes to get her chain back and she didn't do it. She waited until all the other girls were having an issue with her so that she can try to confront her when all the other girls were confronting her, and that was weak. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Baddies East. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.